everybody? Welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. Happy freaking Monday. I hope you're doing okay, because I'm doing swell. Today, we're talking about Kyra. She decided to go on her lives on Friday and do some accusulating. And so we're going to talk about what it means. We're going to go back to take a little step back in the DCP history and see what all these people are talking about. Because, you know, as I grow, the people who get mad at me grow a little bit more, and they're like, and then the same shitty people bring up the same garbage from back in the day, and that's fine. Because that's what I do. And so we're going to take a little step back in the DCP history vault and see what's going on here. Because it's really important we talk about this. And Kyra, really with the hair? Are you sure? Okay, let's go. So I don't know what's going on. Kyra Renee, or Kyra Sivertson, Oscar's ex, as, back in the day, she's like, I'm done with this marriage. Let's film me telling you why I'm done with this marriage. And they did a breakup video. Like, literally, Oscar learning things on video that he had no idea about. She broke up the marriage and she said, I need to find myself. And here's how the timeline kind of goes with that. She said she wanted to, go find herself, but we know that she was, if not cheating on Oscar with Preston, dated Preston literally minutes after she broke up with Preston. My source, who met them in Vegas, who they approached for a threesome, told me that they had said during their conversation that they had been together for over 9 months, which puts the timeline way back before they even broke up. Now, you can believe my source or not. Maybe they were lying to the source. I don't know, but that's what they said to the source. And so I broke that story on my channel here. And obviously he said Kyra a little bit of a tailspin of like lying or like trying to keep it from everybody. And the only thing that Kyra kind of has to hold on to right now is that she's got this Preston thing, and so she was just basically, if not lying, absolutely being gross. Because she ended up being with someone named Preston, who was her ex-best friend's husband, not boyfriend, everybody. They were married in 2020. Okay, this is the person that she did a sex podcast with, talking about everything from threesomes to taints to everything. Like, left nothing off. And that's been downloaded and it's been watched, and people have made fun of it because they were just terrible at it. And who ran the podcast? Like, who ran it? Who edited it? Who did all who was the sound engineer and stuff like that for it? It was Preston. Okay, Preston was on the show with them talking about threesomes and everything else. We have video of Preston and her allegedly texting in the kitchen together while Oscar and Hannah are having some fun. We see that it's pretty shady all around. Now, the thing that really dropped the big bomb on this thing was the source. And the source that sent me a photo that nobody else had, the internet had never seen, which lends so much credibility to my source. And to this day, my source sometimes will send me, can you believe she's saying this? It leads up to this moment where I've been snarking on Kyra for being selfish and for doing all this stuff, because it's just never going to be okay to do that to people, right? But that does happen. Things like that happen, personal relationships. But where I kind of step in is when it comes to the family exploitation, the children exploitation. It seems like Kyra is really, really grasping onto the exploitation of her children, whereas Oscar, yeah, he shows them, but his topic of his videos are not about them. So first things first, I want to talk about Kyra's story and what she said about me. Or people were saying, how do you know it's you? Well, I'll show you how I know. Okay, so here we go. TJ Maxx is the most comfortable lounge shirts right now. I need 1 trillion. Do you know how many shirts 1 trillion is? You'd never be able to fit 1 trillion shirts in your house. Stop. 1 trillion. They even make 1 trillion of them? And what, like, we're going to have 1 trillion, they're all going to be the same color. You run out of colors after 3. So maybe you want 3 of them.
Hello, you guys. Happy Friday.
The hair. It's the hair. Now, here's the conjecture what's going on. She was called out for dyeing her hair red because her hair here looks suspiciously like this girl's hair. And if you don't know who this girl is, this is Preston's ex. Okay? Now, do you know what I'm saying? You get what the people are saying about Kyra Sivertson? See what they're saying? What daddy wants, daddy gets. Now, that's a phrase that came from my source. And she thought it was quite weird and funny that when they were having their conversation about their lifestyle, their sex, and everything else, because these people are about to engage in a threesome, right? And so they're trying to get the mood going and get a little drinky drink, and they're talking about sex and everything else. And Kyra said that phrase. She said, what daddy wants, daddy gets. So So she's either maybe a submissive. I think that's what it is, sub and dom in a relationship, right? She wants to be the submissive one. They're trying to role play. They're trying to get out and be adventurous. And again, when you're a consenting adult and you're not hurting anybody, A-okay, right? But I'm going to make the argument that you did hurt somebody. You hurt your babies. You hurt your children's father, right? You hurt your family. You hurt your children by wanting strange taint, right? So they get out there. So now she's getting fake boobs done, which, you know, again, if you look at the ex, you get the hair done. Everything else seems to be for this dude, for the relationship, to like make him happy. But she's going to address that in this situation. But I just needed to point out that that's exactly who she looks like. The hair, anyway, not everything else.
I'm so excited for today. I'm going out of town, and I'm like been waiting for this day since the second Monday started.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's Monday. She waited to go out of town. Now, Kyra just got a new puppy. My concern is, who's watching the brand new puppy? Is the puppy going with you? You know, the kids are obviously going with Oscar, and I'm begging Oscar, if you're watching this, Oscar, don't take care of her cats and her dog. Not your responsibility. Don't be walked on. Don't be like that. Don't do it. Unless she has a family member taking, maybe. Obviously, the dog's going to be taken care of. I don't think she's just going to leave without getting the dog taken care of, but she just got a dog.
I filmed this whole story, so it feels a little funny to repeat everything that I'm saying, but I had the microphone covered, so anyway.
You didn't have to say any of that. No one would have known. Dumbass.
I wanted to get on here and talk about my red hair.
She's giddy about like wanting to start some shit, right? You see how giddy she is? She's like, I shouldn't be saying this. She's probably got her heart's going a little bit because she knows she's going to start drama. And I need you guys to see this. Drama is part and parcel of being an influencer. It actually is good sometimes, depending on what you've done wrong, right? Now, Kyra's just being a little bit of a harlot. Nothing, you know, lots of people are harlots, right? A lot of people do some floozy things, and that's it. Again, as consenting adults, at least she broke it off eventually with Oscar. But basically, she's giddy about this, and I'm telling you that this is really, really, really important to influencer culture. And I said this the other day. If I'm not being talked about and being hated on in forums and threads, I'm not doing my job. I come here, I give you an opinion that's pretty, I mean, it's still pretty divisive. There are people that will stand on my side and say, Josh, you are right about the exploitation of children. And then I'll talk about the exploitation of children on this side. And they're like, no, not those ones. And they'll hate me for it. But if I'm not being talked about, I'm in oblivion. If I'm being nothinged, it's not good for me. I grow as people talk about me, good or bad. So thanks. I appreciate y'all. She is excited about this. She's about to head on vacation. She's going to drop this bomb of tea or whatever you want to call it, expecting me or whoever to respond. And some people already did. So that when she gets back, she has this big hit of engagement. But I take weekends off, right? I got shit to do. Hey, you know, my kids are my weekend. Yesterday I went to Buffalo to pick up a sub. And I was trying to get some children's Tylenol and Advil. And damn it, they're out there too. Us Canadians are so in dire need of children's Tylenol and Advil that we have literally cleaned out the upper states of the U.S. That's what's going on here, and that's pretty scary. So if anybody has it locally and is willing to ship it to me, I'm absolutely willing to pay a little extra to get that because, you know, flu season is upon us. Weston seems to get sick a lot, right? I don't know if he's eating dirt or licking playground equipment at school. I don't know what he's doing. He gets sick a lot. So it's really good for him to have that. So if anybody has it in your area and it's not being cleaned out or whatever, and you've got plenty, holler at me. I will absolutely pay you, and I'll send you some delicious treats and merch for hooking me up. Anyway, that to say, she loves drama. Everybody loves drama in this world. To a degree, right? There is some drama that will cancel you. Like recently, there was a lady who reached out to some other person on some dance. She has a space that she wanted, and she like berated her for not giving the space for free. You don't want that attention. That attention will get you canceled. Micah Stauffer, you don't want that kind of attention. She likes this because it's pretty much, it doesn't hurt anybody really.
I know, it's quite the thing right now, you guys. My hairdresser posted a picture of my hair at nighttime, and I didn't post anything, and by the morning there was like a whole Reddit forum about my hair. I didn't read the forum, but I just saw a comment on her,
you read the forum, liar,
like my hairdresser's page, and I felt so bad for her because, you know, she's like a hairdresser and she does not want to deal with like people's drama in the comments. So anyways,
so don't post it then. It's Kyra. Hey, Kyra, bring it in here for a huddle. Quick. Come on, bring it in. I don't know if you knew this, Kyra, but drama follows you. So anytime you get something done, you should just tell them, just so you know, you're going to get some comments on your chat. I wonder if Kyra has to tell them, look, guys, I'm a drama target on the internet, so if you post this shit, get ready.
But I thought that I would get on here and talk about it because I think it's kind of funny, and I've never, well, I can't say I've never, I just haven't in a really long time gotten that many comments. It cut me off, but I was just saying I haven't had that many comments on an Instagram photo in a very long time.
Well, look at it. You look like a Marvel superhero, but your superhero power is being an asshole.
Especially because like on Instagram right now, if you post a picture, it's not really being shown to people because Reels are where Instagram is like more headed. So anyways, aside from that, I wanted to share my thoughts on some of the comments plus my opinion of my hair. To be honest, it's an adjustment. I'm very glad I did it.
Let me translate this for you. I think I've got my Kyra translator on. I hate my hair. I cannot believe I did this. Preston, you asshole. Why did you make me do this? That's what she's saying there.
I've always wanted to dye my hair red. I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually dyed it red before.
I've always wanted to dye my hair red. I've dyed my hair red. Did these people ever just stop once to consider anything that they say with their donut holes ever? Your face hole is bad at this.
It was just a temporary color, so it looked a lot different and like wasn't as extreme of a change. And obviously this is much more bold and permanent. And so I don't feel like personally it fits me as beautifully as it fits everybody who's dyeing their hair red, right?
Translation. Oh my God, I can't believe I did this. You ever heard of Photoshop? All you have to do is put your hair back in a ponytail. Okay, I don't know why more hairdressers don't do this because this shit is expensive. Okay, you take a picture of your head, like for me, right? And you can put different hairstyles on that shit instantly with Photoshop. Okay, look at me with hair. Just saying. Maybe you should have thought about that.
No, because it's definitely a trend. I wish it did.
Is this a trend? It shouldn't be.
And I'm kind of sad. And I think Laura did an amazing job. She like totally brought my vision to life. And the picture I showed her on Pinterest, she like copy and pasted.
But you don't like it.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan in the whole world. Still glad I did it because like I said, I've always wanted to try it. But
translation bot. I'm so glad I did this. I hate it, but I have to tell you I'm so glad I did this because if I say that I didn't, they're just going to talk about me on Reddit.
It is what it is. I paid a lot of money to get it done, so I'm definitely going to be keeping it until it fades. I also have like, obviously if you've dyed your hair red before, you know that you're not supposed, well, I didn't know this until now, but you're not supposed to like wash it with warm water. And because I have like blonde strips and red, like I'm not supposed to like wash it together. But the biggest part that I don't like about my hair is the blonde that's right here. I just am like not my...
It's like grandmother going to bingo energy. You know what I mean? You know, those grandmothers are still hip. I like those grandmothers. Don't get me wrong. You want to color your hair bright pink with a couple spritz of white or dark royal purple with some like lightning strikes. Yeah. You go, girl. You earned it. Grandma, you earned that shit. You look great. Okay? I love it. But that's what it is. It's grandma going to bingo energy for that.
OCD is not happy with like the blunt color difference. So I actually have been washing it together. Like I washed it for the first time yesterday with warm water and like so much soap, and I tried to blend it.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
And it's kind of hard to tell on video, but it definitely did blend a little.
It didn't.
Bit, so I think the more I wash it, the more it'll blend it, and the more that I will like.
No, it won't. Why don't you just dye the front then?
Like it? And the next thing I might very well...
Here's what I'm imagining, right? The girl's doing her hair, and then Kyra turns around in the chair. Oh, yeah, totally. What Pinterest? It looks like the Pinterest one. Thanks, Karen. This looks great. Oh, my God. The internet is going to rip me to shreds. So I got to come out ahead of this. This is the scandal she had to come out ahead of.
Regret making this story, but I also am just like sick of sitting here with my mouth shut. Like, I mean, it's been a year and I still just sit here like an idiot. So...
Are you talking about Preston here? It'll be next month. It'll be a year where you broke up with Oscar and Camera. So yeah, it's coming up on a year.
And this is kind of a silly thing to address, but I would never dye my hair a certain color for a man, let alone...
But you said what daddy wants, daddy gets. And you're getting fake boobs and everything. You're becoming someone completely different. You threw your family into the toilet. That's one of the things that you wouldn't do that for a guy? Well, we beg to differ. Here, the reason that people are so upset with you that used to like you is because you've done this. You did it to Oscar, and Oscar, again, to blame as well. Then you did this to your best friend, who was your nanny, then was your coworker, then is now connected through... You both shared the taint, that's what I'm saying. So that's why people are mad at you. There's no other reason. You're selfish. That's what people are like. You're selfish. The end. You can just say, hey guys, I'm selfish. Because in this world, you can actually say words like, I'm going to be selfish for me for the rest of my life. And people are like, yes, queen, slay. That's where we are in the world today. You can be the most disgusting, selfish asshole. And people are like, slay, queen. And I am so sad for it.
Really any choices. If you guys know me in real life or have watched my videos for a long time, you probably know I'm obnoxiously stubborn and do what I want to do. And that's actually a problem I'm working on.
Yes, I will agree with her on this. When it comes to Oscar and her relationship, Oscar was the pushover. She was the leader. It sounds like the dynamic has shifted, though, with Preston. She wasn't liking that. She wasn't liking the fact that she was in charge and blah, blah, blah. And that's all. And Preston comes along. And what Daddy wants, Daddy gets. Something's told me the dynamic has shifted. And Preston is not someone who puts up with shit. Maybe she was tired of just being, you know, right all the time. Or like being the person that had to make all the decisions. Or like maybe that's what happened here. So yeah, you've changed. You said it. You even said it when you broke up. We're all changing. I'm looking to change everything. This sounds like what changed
in life, but I definitely would never dye my hair a color because a man told me to. And if they did, I probably would do the opposite.
To Oscar, you probably would. But no, we don't believe you. Nobody believes you. Because look how bad it is.
This was very much an independent choice, and
nobody believes you. Time for a song. Nobody believes you, you damn liar. Nobody believes you and your dumb hair. You threw your family away, all because you needed some strange taint. Nobody believes you, 'cause we can see with our eyes that you are dumb and selfish. Nobody believes you. Ooh. Nobody. Not gonna lie, that was a bop.
And yeah.
Yeah. No. It's so. I wonder in her mind when she's like saying these videos and she's like spouting these things. She's like, nobody's gonna believe me. She knows it. She's smart enough to know.
So regarding those comments, I can't.
I'm going to laugh them off aloofly.
Yeah. And another thing that I definitely will, I already regret saying it before my words are out.
So why say it?
Another thing is that I would never, ever, ever, ever in a million trillion years leave my fiance and leave my very good life for another man. 10,000% that is very inaccurate.
When you're saying crazy numbers like, never in a trillion, billion, quadrillion years would I ever do that, 1,000%, you're saying the thing. You don't need to say the thing. Now no one believes you because you're just trying to. You're a sweaty tryhard. We don't believe you.
Accurate. And I think a lot of people are taking these truths or proof and still calling it the truth, and that is not accurate.
It's accurate. Guys, I absolutely believe my sources. It's up to you if you want to believe my sources. How did my source get the picture that was unreleased, right? And maybe, again, they might have been lying to the source about, you know, how long we've been doing this. We've been doing threesomes forever because maybe they didn't have an experience at it. Maybe. Sure. It's in the realm of possibility. But it wasn't very long after this whole breakup thing that they're out in Vegas doing threesomes. So the timeline doesn't agree with you, Kyra. If you really wanted to go out and discover yourself, it only took you, what, 3 weeks? Someday, Hannah, is going to come forward with the entire story. Someday she's going to get the balls up and she's going to have one too many margaritas and she's just going to lay out the shit, unless she has signed an NDA or something. Okay. There's just something that's Hannah Hawker or whatever her name is knows all the secrets. She knows everything. And one day it's going to come forward, Kyra, and it's not going to make you look good like this picture here of you.
Who I've slept with and how many people I've slept with, maybe those things are accurate.
There. So that's it. People are like, what do you mean I said, it sounds like she's confirming this, right? And so she's confirming it right there. She's like, maybe that's accurate. It's not accurate that I left my husband for this other guy, but it's accurate that I slept with a bunch of people. And that's fine too, right? It's not the act, right? People are judging you based on what you've done, based on who you threw under the bus, based on stealing somebody else's husband. Clearly, Hannah's the better person for not coming out and calling out your shit. Also, clearly, she's probably, you know, taking a step back and just is the better person, right? But you took something that didn't belong to you. You inserted yourself into a conversation. And if you're saying what you're saying here is right, where you are the dominant personality in relationships, you're the one that makes all the thing. You did it. So it sounds like maybe you made the first move towards Preston too, right? Could that have been it too? Because, man, you're not somebody who's just passive and waiting for things. You take control. You're the one. So this is why people are upset with you. But she's right there admitting, basically, of being a trollop.
Who knows? But as far as like...
I don't understand why she's like, I didn't do that thing, but this one, maybe. Come on.
The other things being said are definitely not true. And
like what? What other things?
And I think that sometimes it's fun to believe those things, but when you really think about it, you realize like, okay, yeah, maybe like inch to a mile, you know?
No, I don't know what that means. Inch to a mile. I don't know what that means. But now what other things is she saying? So let's recap what the things we said. We have concerns that she cheated on Oscar during the marriage because when she had the threesome in Vegas, the person said that they had been together for over 10 months. Right? And with their words, they said that, which would put that back to October before the December breakup video. Okay? We've seen them texting on camera, allegedly. Might not have been them, but we all think it's them, right? We've seen that Preston brings her flowers when they both came back. He brought both girls flowers. There's a video of them out there and Oscar saying relationship goals and Preston's like, I'll see if I can find it. Here's a video of them texting. He's texting. She receives it. Watch. Ready? Ready? Boom. She receives it. Texting back. Texting back. Look at her face. Oh my God. Then he goes, ready? Pick it up. Oh, it picks up the phone. Yeah. All this stuff, we look at it and we see it, and it really just, it hits. It's pretty gross, actually, that we could see this all unfold on camera. Needless to say, don't forget that this person was a friend of theirs in their life with another woman who's married to another woman. Probably called him Uncle Preston, probably, right? And now it's like Daddy Preston at the house that stays there. And the daughter said he gives her a headache. He's very crazy and all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry. It's just selfish.
I shouldn't have started because now I can't stop. The absolute last thing I'm going to say before I
Look how giddy she is about this. Look at the giddiness. Look at it.
Get off and edit and upload a video and then go on vacation is drama channels are really fun. I know. I can't even lie. I get so invested too, especially I think the channel is called Spill Sesh. I have watched her videos and very guilty. Can't lie to you.
Has Spill Sesh done a video on her? Oh, not for 3 months. Just when the okbaby is done. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of these people who I cover watch my videos. I had one that I've covered who I don't like at all. Like, I don't like them. But I reached out to them because they did something super shitty on their Instagram. And I just said, what's going on? They're like, and she wasn't kidding. She's like, we love your videos. We watch them all the time. We think you're hilarious. We love them. I'm like, you know, I hate what you do. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We love your videos. And I was like, a little taken aback. I'm not going to lie. I was like, do you not see that I don't want you to do what you're doing? And they're like, no, we laugh. So maybe it's just a coping mechanism. I don't know. But
as far as some other ones go, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is inaccurate, and you should always kind of look into the people who are making videos about other people talking full time, because if you know anybody in real life who talks every day, all day, especially like grown people. They're
Just making fun of my age.
probably kind of weird. And then also to add on top of that, some of them have horrible allegations about relationships with children when they're apparently protecting children.
Okay.
So just do your research.
So this is exactly what Love Meg did. This is exactly what Bits of Brie did. This is what, and they all comes through Shannon Rose. And by the way, all these women are connected to Shannon Rose. Just so you're aware. And it's like, it sounds like she's a little bit late to the game. And that's okay, Kyra. Let me educate you. So here's what Shannon Rose said.
I have a job.
Oh, you're so cute, Mom. His job, he makes money off of being mean to people like me. That's like how he profits and makes a living.
Yeah, well, he should do it positively and
Mom,
negatively.
Her mom's kind of sweet, not gonna lie.
He used to be a pastor, and he got fired
Tell her for why. Tell her for why.
as a pastor, and now
And he's being mean to you?
I'm sorry, Shannon's mom. You're kind of cute.
Wow.
yeah. And
What?
supposedly, I don't know
Wow.
if it's true or not. This is just
But
what I heard. It could be a total
allegedly.
lie, but supposedly he got fired for a pastor for molesting children. Yeah, and now he's like makes all these videos like talking bad about moms. But anyway,
And you can go back and watch that video if you want. That's what Shannon Rose said. Apparently he got fired for molesting children. That's what she said on a camera. And I think, till this summer to sue her if I really want to. I mean, what am I going to get out of her? An RV? Maybe I'll sue her for her RV. But you can't say that about somebody. Like, look, I can go online. I can be mean here for sure. And this has like gone around quite a bit. They're like, Josh is he's probably, hiding out in the plain open because he's a child rapist. That's what people, I've been accused of child R like multiple times. Now, that's where Kyra's getting this from, right? She's getting it from this, and then there's this anonymous avatar who's claiming that they're anonymous, and they're like, we are Legion, we're coming after you. It's so funny. So this person, who I'm going to find out who it is, because if you're a stalker to that level, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to be anonymous. I'll find you. If you have any trail, I'm going to find you in any legal avenue I have, and I'm going to out you on this channel 100% as soon as I find out who you are. Now, that's great because that person will spread these things like Josh covered up an essay at his church, or Josh did this, and they'll say all these things that are completely been debunked. Now, so what Kyra's talking about, and let me educate you, Kyra, is that back in the day when I went to church, I did a video on my church. And back in the day before, this is when I still worked there, something that always struck me as odd and something that didn't sit right with me was the fact that pastors aren't allowed to talk about what goes on inside churches, right? In this case, there was a child there was some kind of inappropriate behavior that happened with a child and a youth leader, okay? I did not know about what happened to this day. Nobody will tell me, and I have asked many people. Fine, right? So the police were called, the investigation took place, the guy was fired. I don't know if he went to jail. I don't know anything because they didn't tell us, right? And so people were like, oh my God, this is what that turned into. Josh covered up an essay. He's a mandated reporter. He didn't report the essay. Josh is a child R. He's done all these things. He's the most terrible person in the world. That's what it turned into because my haters will literally shift everything I say. So here's the truth of it, and I'll say it again for these idiots who don't know how to listen to reason. There's no way I could have reported anything because I didn't know until, I don't know, a month, 2 months after it happened, that it was already taken care of. It was already reported. The police had already been involved. The parents have already been in. Everything was already taken care of, quote unquote. Some people were like, yeah, you still should have went to the police. Are you out of your mind? Second of all, it's not my department. I didn't know what happened. I wasn't there. I didn't even know. Nowhere near me did it happen. Again, this all happened in a meeting later with all the staff. And all it was staff. If the media approaches you about this, because maybe it was going to court or something, I don't know. If the media approaches you, don't say anything, come to us. And so I was like, getting a little bit pissed because I'm like, we don't get to say anything. That turned into me being an SA. That's it. And then Shannon Rose, like, he's a child R. And she said she had proof and all this kind of stuff. And she didn't present any proof. Now, of all the things that could go on about lawsuits, okay? There are certain things that could destroy a human's life. And I'm not talking about losing money on YouTube, losing subscribers or anything like that. That's secondary to the idea that if people actually believed this, I could literally have had my life ruined. I'm an adoptive dad. Okay, CAS could come in and say, hey, look, these all allegations. We're taking your kids away from you. This is the most dangerous rhetoric you could ever spout on the internet. Yes, I might make fun of you for being a floozy, right? Or whatever. And I might eviscerate you for being a bad person and exploiting your children. But it's not the same thing as you calling me a child R or alluding to it. And some people are like, Josh, you must be guilty because how do you know she's talking about you? Who else talks about her? Who else? Who else? And they're like, well, you must be feeling guilty because you think it's about you. Then let her come out and say who it's really about. I said the same thing about Love Meg and Bits of Brie. They're all like alluded to it. Like, this guy might be a child R. People don't want to do the research, which is fine because I don't do a ton of research either. Like, why do you get fired as a pastor? This is the scariest thing about churches. And it's not... This isn't me standing up for churches. This is actually against churches. Is that as soon as a pastor leaves a church, automatically people assume the worst thing ever. Why is that? Because churches are failing. Leaders in churches are failing. And as soon as something happens, it's either a moral failure, something to do with kids, or whatever. But but in the most part, a lot of pastors leave because of burnout or like they don't align with the church's values anymore and stuff like that. That says more about the church than these people, because as soon as you leave a church, they're like, oh, he must have our children. That's literally what they think. As I told you, and as you have heard with your own ears, you can hear the literal meeting where I was fired. I recorded it secretly so everybody could hear why I was fired. Okay? And as according to the church, it was because it was a fit issue. We weren't really fitting. That was what it was. But according to me, in my opinion, it was because I was asking hard questions and I was asking not to be burnt out to a degree that was like, can I go see my family, please? That's what I believe. I took parental leave and I was let go while I was on parental leave, which is a human rights violation in Canada, by the way. It's a human rights violation. So if you want to know why I was fired, you can literally, with your own ear holes, go listen to the conversation I had with the pastors. You can make up your own mind, sure. But go listen to it. If I was fired for being a child SAer, right? I would have been in jail. You idiots. I would have had a record at minimum. So suck my ass. And that's why I'm upset with Kyra for spreading these false rumors. Because it's just, you don't do it. You can call me a fat, ugly bastard all day long because I'm a fat, ugly bastard. I get it. Fat, balding, gross man that lives in my mom's basement or garage. A lot of people think it's a garage because of these panels. But these panels are soundproof panels. So that's why it looks like a garage. You know, I get that. I'm an old man who sucks at everything. I get it. I get it. I understand. You're allowed to say those things to me. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to clutch my pearls and be like, oh my God, don't call me ugly. I can make fun of myself. Apparently you guys can't. But the issue is when you start going real world like this, that's when it gets a little bit crazy. Because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe my wife wants to get a job in the future and like, oh, it sounds like your husband's an SA or we don't want you here. Right? That's crazy. You cannot make those allegations because I will sue the shit out of you. I don't care about my money making on YouTube. I care about me and my reputation. Of course I do. Okay? So you don't get to do that. And I think even my haters, even my most ardent haters would say, don't do this to anybody. You just don't do it. And Kyra's not going to present any proof or anything like that because she doesn't have any. Right? She's just going off what Shannon Rose said. The Shannon Rose who crushed animals in porn videos, who did Nazi fetish porn, racist Nazi fetish porn. That person who can't keep a thing straight, who braided homeless people, who said homeless people try to kidnap her kid, who showed dead bodies on camera. That person. That's the person you're going to align with? I'm sorry. Everybody's like, well, Shannon has changed. Now she makes tampons. Now she makes, her own maxi pads in the woods. Okay, fine. But it doesn't negate the fact her whole life was built on a lie. And that the fact that you're going to use that same lie to try to throw me under the bus because everybody was pissed. Everybody was sending me this video was like, look what Kyra said to you. Now, Kyra, I get you're trying to start the drama and stuff like that, which is why I posted the picture of you on my Facebook. All bets are off when you want to call me a child R. And there are still people out there who be like, shame on you, Josh, for calling out her looks. But did you go berate Kyra for calling me a child R, basically? Did you? No? Oh, okay. Got it. Make it make sense, everybody. So Kyra, you're an asshole. Don't poke that bear. I'm a dad. I'm an adoptive father, and I'm a good damn dad. And I stand on this platform to shout at people who exploit their children. Okay? I've got a clean record. I don't even have a damn parking ticket. Don't ever say that, especially to someone like me who was a victim of childhood SA. Okay? You got to be really careful with your words. And apparently, I think maybe even Kyra has said to some degree that she had some issues when she was a child. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But if she did, shame on you. Okay? Because that's a really, really deep allegation. And when you just throw it around willy-nilly on your Instagram stories, it really, really does take it away from those people who are guilty of that stuff. You're using it as ammo. You're using it as like a slapback. And that's just crazy. You should feel ashamed for doing that. You're gross, because there are actually people doing that. And some of those people are probably watching you and your effing children on your channel that you serve up on a silver platter, by the way. Which, by the way, if you look at Oscar and Kyra's channel, Oscar's kind of, he does have his kids in there a little bit, but Kyra's making it about her children. She's going back to the exact old ways of okbaby. And she thinks that's going to help her, but it's not. And again, there's a bunch of other stories she said that maybe I'm not with Preston. She is 100% with Preston and has always been, and in my opinion, according to my witness, since before she broke up with Oscar. If anything, they were having conversations, because it seems so quick that after you broke up this marriage with, they have 4 kids, they've been together for like, what, 12 years? I don't know. They've been together for so long. And all of a sudden, not weeks later, you're with this guy? That's just so strange. We can put 2 and 2 together. We're not dumb over here, but you are. Don't do it again, Kyra. If you're going to accuse me of that, you better damn well bring receipts. I'm glad we agree. And I'm also glad we agree that your hair is no. It's just no. Okay? You're gross. Everybody take a deep ass breath. We love it. We love it here. Yes, thanks for standing by me here. Last couple of days, we had some really tough conversations about the exploitation of children and everything else that was going on with that. And that was a really tough conversation, especially when it comes to kids who are terminal, who are ill, who are going through medical processes and everything else, and if it was okay. And, you know I have a little bit of an echo chamber, because we all do. We've built these channels on people who are like-minded, who think the same, right? For the most part. I think most of us can agree that child exploitation is wrong. Right? And I think that's kind of why it might be an echo chamber. So when I ask you, does a kid deserve privacy? I fully expected most of you to say, yeah, kids deserve privacy, because I think we all believe. I think anybody who has a brain in their head thinks that. And so I appreciate that. But I did have an epiphany. I did have a little bit of a wake-up call over the weekend. I was just thinking about it. It sits on my heart. Like, you guys think that I'm a callous a-hole, and I can be a callous a-hole, right? But it's not that I'm still human, and I still think about, man, should I have done that? Should I have said that? And so I personally reached out to Carrie from Hayden's Hope, and I apologized for my first message to her. I said it could have been handled a lot better. I could have been a lot nicer. Probably could have had a great conversation. So my apologies for being brash in sending you a message. But I had just watched this video of her just filming her kid having a seizure, and it really hit me super hard that she's just filming it and not doing anything, and I'm not sure she can even do anything. But it just hit me, because there's nothing in the information in this video or in the title about what to look for seizures, how to deal with this, what you should be doing. It's just filming it. And so as soon as I watched that, I sent her that message. And I probably should have slept on it. I probably should have waited. And so going forward, I will make this promise to you and other people, that I'm not going to send messages like that to anybody anymore. I will continue to send messages and look for comments. If I'm going to be covering a channel, I'll say, hey, look, I've been getting a lot of messages about you about this. Have you ever considered not exploiting your child? You know, have you ever considered that they deserve privacy or they deserve dignity? Would you like to have a conversation about it? So that, I think everybody was kind of right about that. I think people were like, maybe you shouldn't have wrote that message. And yes, I did not know that her kid was terminal. I absolutely didn't know. And that's not an excuse. I definitely want to have more conversations with people, because that's way more productive than just like throwing this out on the internet, especially when it comes to serious topics like that. That should have been covered with more care. So I have listened to a lot of people in my circle who I trust to say, yeah, I probably should have been more careful with that. And I agree. So I did reach out and give her a private apology. If she read it or not, it's up to her. I don't expect any forgiveness at all whatsoever. But I still do stand by my stance. I absolutely stand on my stance that kids deserve privacy. So, but yeah, I could be better, and I will get better, right? Am I still going to make fun of people? Yeah. Yep. Yes, I will. Absolutely. Especially if you exploit children unapologetically. You deserve it, right? And but this conversation that we had about this thing was a big deal, and we're still at that crossroads. It's still, I think, gray area. I still think she did amazing things. I still think raising money for these causes is an amazing thing to do. I still do. But I also still think that kids deserve privacy. And I think we all kind of sit there in that little blur of gray, for sure. So I'm glad you guys stuck with me through that. And I had some people that commented that didn't watch the video, and they're just like, oh yeah, you're just bullying. I'm like, go watch the movie. I didn't go watch both of those videos and show me where I was bullying her. Craziness. Anyway, so yes, I wanted to just tell you guys that I did that and acknowledge it publicly. Yeah, I can be a little bit nicer in DMs. I don't have to be nice on this camera, especially if you're Explorer, but you're right, I should be. And that's something I'll take away core memory on this channel. So I hope you guys can forgive me for saying that too. You know, it's not really up to you to forgive me, but for those of you who maybe lost a little bit of faith in me for when I sent that, I apologize. Okay? Anyway, we'll leave it at that. But thanks for coming here to this channel and being a part of this and being supportive. And even those people who don't agree with me and have adult conversations with me, you are the real heroes. Those are the conversations that will sway me. And that actually is what made me realize that maybe I shouldn't be writing maybe I shouldn't write aggressive messages to people, right? It wasn't super aggressive except for the last line, which was for shame. And again, that was what hit me. So I appreciate you guys. And I am always listening. So you guys stay amazing and beautiful. Don't forget that you are very valuable. Don't ever fly flare, okay? And I will see you tomorrow.